It's good enough that the minister acknowledged that every Nigerian has the right to protest, and that is well enshrined in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. And so I have the right, if I decide that there's anything that I don't feel comfortable about, I can protest. But it should be within certain ambit, in that where my own freedom ends is where your own rights start. So I cannot do that by also inconveniencing anybody around me. And that was what the minister was saying. Yes, he was right. But the question we ask ourselves, these children or these students that are protesting, do they have legitimate reason to protest? And that, to me, should be the question. When last did the Minister of Works and Housing talk about the issues being raised by the students? Yes. The issue of ASUU that has been lingering for over 8 months. Is it not just talking because they went to the roads? That, to me, it doesn't really make so much sense. But the fact remains, to me, as far as I'm concerned, what the student did yesterday, to a large extent, to me, is they didn't really sit down with me. Because there are better ways of pushing whatever agitation you are trying to do. Because when you shut down the expressway, you are also making other people, inconveniencing other people. Already we have a serious problem on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway because of the construction that is going on within the Kara Bridge, the Beggar area, and the rest of them. A few days ago, some people spent over 8 to 10 hours on that stretch of road. 8 to 10 hours. In fact, at the point, we were told that it was up to 16 hours. So that in itself, what I would have expected is that most of the people you are protesting against, they don't fly those routes. They don't. Most of them, they are going flying. They're always flying. It's only poor people like us that fly such routes. I personally, if you seek my counsel, I would have thought that they would have taken those protests to the airports. That's for me personally. If they go to the airport and shut down the airport, it will affect the so-called big men and women, because it's just that ordinary. Their parents, their brothers and sisters who are trying to earn a living on a daily basis that they are trying to. So I think that should be better and strategic way of doing that rather than just blocking the express.
All right, Mr. Paul, is this a case of beating a child and telling it not to cry?
Definitely, yes. I like to look at it that way. It's easier to quote the law. You understand? It's easier to declare what the students did as illegal. But you see, when people are angry, many times they don't think about the law. When you push someone against the wall, and their back is already against the wall, and you are still pushing them, what do you think they will do? They try and push you back. You understand? The strike has lingered for now. The federal government has shamefully allowed the strike to linger this long. It's even gone to the court. The students are the one bearing the brunt directly. A boy was talking to me recently. He said, look, COVID, during the COVID restriction, it lengthened the time I had to stay in school. COVID is gone. COVID restriction is gone, rather. Now it's strike. We're talking about 7-8 months. So I don't think this is the time for us to be quoting the law. I think the students made a statement. It does not matter to me whether it was on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway or at the airport. They made a statement with their protest. And they got it. Whatever they did was strong enough to get government attention. Yet, yes, it's true. You know, when there are protests, you have let me use within this context, collateral damage. Let me just use it in this context. When NSAS protest happened, roads were also blocked. The roads were also blocked. People couldn't move, who would go about their businesses. So that goes with the territory of protest. Once people are aggrieved and they are angry, they won't be thinking of the law at the moment.
Right. The students have said, you know, more of this will come, and it's scary for me because this was the same way NSAS protest started.
Well, there will always be protests as far as I'm concerned. I said that earlier on. And protest is a legitimate means of passing messages. So there's no, you can't do, in fact, you remember in those days, some years back, the federal government and the police, we tried to stop people from protesting until this issue was taken as far as the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled on it that every Nigerian has the right to protest. In fact, it went further to say that you don't even need a police permit. the best the police will do is to provide officers, men, to protect you and make sure that that protest was not hijacked by anybody. So the students, it is their right to protest. And as I asked earlier on, legitimate or not, legitimately they have the right to protest and they must protest. For goodness sake, you can't keep... A few days ago, UNICEF came out with a study and said over 20 million Nigerian children out of school children. And I said that we have more than that. Because if they say 20 million, have they added the university students that are still at home? Are they not out of school? They are out of school. Are they not children? They are children. Because they live with their parents. So we can only but bury our head in the sand like the ostrich and leave our body exposed and pretending that nothing happened. This problem has been here for long. The Minister of Education, instead of solving the problem, is asking Nigerians to beg the students and the parents to go and beg ASUU. Now, the case has been taken to the industrial court. Tomorrow, tomorrow's Friday, the industrial court will be, will be educating on this. And let's see what is going to... Even if the industrial court says that the lecturers should go back to work, if they refuse, what will happen? Because you cannot force an employee, an unwilling employer, or vice versa. If they say, well, all well and good, you cannot force me to work. You can force me. The issue we are saying now is that let the federal government look at those issues that have been raised by the lecturers, by the ASUU, based on this. What is a contract? In law, we call a valid contract. A valid contract in law, as we say, is a contract that was signed, sealed, and delivered. Once that three elements is in a contract, then it's valid. You are bound to abide by the terms of that contract. And that is the problem we're having here.